Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Jeffrey Epstein Show. I'm your host, Bobbycapucci, and this is Daily Drop number 136. We're going to talk about Prince Andrew again today, folks. This man has a birthday coming up, and usually, obviously, for a royal of his stature, the parties are ginormous, just big, huge events. You know, it's a whole ordeal, right? It's a monarch's birthday. He's in line for the throne, et cetera, et cetera. So it's like a really big deal to these people. And it's his 60th birthday. You know, this should be a milestone day for Prince Andrew. This should be the kind of day that, you know, you look forward to as you're getting on in your years. This is a milestone birthday. You're turning 60. This should be spent with your friends, your family. It should be a good time. The fun should be flowing. But instead, Prince Andrew, of his own making, is going to have one terrible 60th birthday. It looks like all of his buddies, quote-unquote buddies, aren't going to be going to his birthday party. It looks like a whole bunch of people have turned down the invites to Prince Andrew's birthday party. And oh, how the mighty have fallen. But my question is it too little too late? We have known about Virginia Roberts' accusations for some time. We have known about Prince Andrew's relationship with Jeffrey Epstein for some time. And so has the Crown. But yet, he's had birthday parties all the way up until now. He's had all of his, royal, whatever you want to call it, royal luxuries up until now. And now, all of a sudden, because the pressure's on and the public's finally paying attention to what the hell is going on, now Prince Andrew is persona non grata to all of these people who looked the other way for so long. Now, all of a sudden, it's a big deal because it might affect their lives, and it might affect their stature, and it might affect their place in so-called high society. Meanwhile, these survivors are still just going through their daily lives, looking for a little bit of justice, looking for a little bit of help from the justice system. But they don't get that. What do they get? They get scorn, they get lies, they get obfuscation, and they get guys like Prince Andrew who say he's going to speak with the authorities, but in reality has no desire to do such, has no plans to do such, and understands that if he goes and speaks with the authorities, that he's going to put himself in a whole heap of trouble because he is not being honest. So, today's article is about Prince Andrew's birthday, and the headline is, "The fizz goes out of Prince Andrew's 60th birthday as friends shun invites to his party, leaving Sarah Ferguson to ask more guests to make up the numbers." See, it's all a numbers game to these people. It's all about public profile. He has no shame. If he had even just an ounce of shame, he'd just keep his birthday a private matter this time, just with his family and his little cottage, wherever he lives now, and be done with it. But no, it has to be a thing. It has to be in the newspapers. It has to be an event. Sarah Ferguson has to make up the numbers by sending for other guests. It's just such a joke. What next? You're going to order people to come to your wedding? The king demands your attendance. What is even going on? And furthermore, why would anyone want to go to this guy's birthday party anyway? Prince Andrew was withdrawn from royal duties ever since his ill-fated Newsnight interview with Emily Maitlis. Well, unless it has to do with the coronavirus and going to speak with the Chinese ambassador, then I guess he's a part-time royal now. He's an on-call royal right now, I guess. But nothing quite illustrates the Duke of York's dizzying fall from grace than the manner in which a number of his friends, or those he thought of as his friends, have shunned the chance to join him tomorrow on his 60th birthday. That's telling. These people are like, you know what, we're running for the hills. We stuck with you all these years, and this time, nope, not this time. We are out of Dodge, my friend. You are on your own. Sit and swing. I hope you enjoy your birthday party, and I hope that you have a clown there. Well, we know that there'll be a clown there, but another clown, one besides Andrew there. Maybe they could do, balloon animals together. And, Andrew, that's always an option, right? There's always clown college for Andrew if worse comes to worse. He is celebrating the day with a private dinner at Royal Lodge, the Windsor residence he shares with his ex-wife Fergie. Indeed, I can disclose such has been the number of guests who have discovered they are unavailable that additional invitations to the bash have been sent out by Jane Clark, Fergie's assistant. This is hilarious. All of a sudden, nobody wants to be around this guy. He is so toxic. He is so toxic that people don't want to come and eat the free food, drink the free booze, and, get their name in the paper for being at a royal event. That is how far Andrew has fallen. And the man deserves it. He deserves every last bit of scorn. He deserves every last bit of people not wanting to associate with him. And he deserves to speak to the FBI. I have been asked by the Duchess of York and Princess Beatrice and Eugenie to invite you to a private dinner at Royal Lodge at 7:30 p.m. on Wednesday, 19th of February, she alerts recipients, before emphasizing that the event is in celebration of the Duke of York's 60th birthday. Do they have that in the small print at the bottom of the invitation? Like when you're on a credit card agreement? So you don't even you can't read what it says. You got to get out a microscope. You have to get out all sorts of things just to read what the letter says. And I'm guessing that's what they have going on here, because if anyone sees the Duke of York's birthday in big letters, they're going to crumple up the invitation and throw it out, right? Lest any of these second-tier guests feel they may lack time to doll themselves up appropriately, Clark adds, the dress code is suits and cocktail dress. Clark asks them to alert her of any dietary requirements. What is this, the club? All right, so we have a dress code, all right? Here's what you have to wear. People that are getting invited to Buckingham Palace, you wouldn't be wearing a suit or a cocktail dress. What are you going to wear? You dress as a ninja like one of the Gambinos that Jeffrey Epstein said was hanging out in front of his house? What do you wear to something like this besides a suit? It is all a far cry from Andrew's 50th. By then, his association with Jeffrey Epstein, the disgraced U.S. financier, pedophile, who was found dead in a New York prison cell last August, was well known, but it failed to deter a string of glamorous women from attending the Duke's birthday bash, which was held over a weekend at St. James Palace. That's what I was talking about earlier. All of these people who are declining the invite now, who have come to all these other parties previously, maybe we should get a list of all of them and laugh at them, because it's very transparent what's going on here. Andrew has finally got to the point where he is so toxic that people don't even want to have the glow of royalty around them, because they're scared that they might end up in the papers and end up having to answer questions, of why they were hanging out with Prince Andrew, who is under, serious accusations here of sexually assaulting and being sexually assaulting Virginia Roberts and taking part of a, sex trafficking ring, amongst other things that we don't even know about, supposedly groping people in public, Again, we don't have any information on that subject, just, the very vague statement of he was groping people. Well, it could be adults and it could be consensual, who knows? But we need more information about that, right? But what it does do is it paints a picture of a complete and utter moron, a complete and utter jackass who obviously is morally, he's morally corrupt, right? He's morally bankrupt, And this is a man that doesn't look at you or I or people as humans. He looks at people who are not of his stature or in his circle as nothing more than walking bags of meat. And that's how he feels. That's the kind of man Prince Andrew is. Partygoers included Katrina Skepper, the one-time Pretty Polly and Cadbury's Flake model, as well as socialite Caroline Stanbury, who subsequently appeared on reality TV show Ladies of London, and Kazakh-born socialite Goga Ashkenazi. It had been beguiling Ashkenazi who had introduced Andrew, it had been the beguiling Ashkenazi who had introduced Andrew to Kazakhstan oligarch Timur Kulibayev, by whom she now has 2 sons. Wow. The connections between all of these rich oligarchs and those who are supposed to be in power of us in the West is it's mind-blowing to look at. If you just follow the money. If you follow the money, you're going to end up at a place where you're just shaking your head and saying to yourself, how in the hell is this even possible? How in the hell did these people get away with this for so long? But guess what? The party's ending for them, because the curtains have been drawn back now, and people are getting a good, hard look at what's going on inside, and they're not going to stand for it. Not for long. Later, in 2007, Kulibayev generously bought the Duke's former home, Sunninghill Park, for £3 million more than the £12 million asking price. That doesn't seem like a favor. Or, here, I'll give you an extra few million, but, when I call on you for a little help in England to get, some regulations passed or to get my bank set up or whatever it may be, I expect you to come and help me. Nobody gives you this kind of money with nothing on the back end, folks, all right? Buying favor. Perhaps there'll be more fruitful introductions tomorrow between those who've stayed loyal to Andrew and those treated to a last-minute invitation. Wow, it's going to be interesting. I'm definitely going to be taking a look at who's coming to Andrew's birthday party. It's going to be an interesting day of seeing who actually steps forward and shrugs off the fallout and decides that it's more important for them to try and get some publicity by going to this guy's birthday party. But I don't know if that's the kind of publicity you want. You're going to end up with you getting yourself a closer look here on the podcast if you end up at this guy's birthday party at this point. Because again, this should be nothing but family. Now, he should spend this birthday with his family on whatever sort of little lodge or cabin they have for these knuckleheads on the Buckingham Palace estate or however it works over there, wherever he lives, him and Fergie and his daughters and their significant others and whoever in the family wants to join them, great. But it does not need to be a public affair. You don't need to invite a bunch of people to your birthday party, your 60th birthday party, when you are under the microscope the way you are. What it does is it just shows his hubris. It shows the way he feels. He'll be damned if anything gets in the way of him doing what he wants to do. And that's the kind of man Prince Andrew is. He grew up in purple. He grew up with every one of his needs being tended to by someone that he feels is less than him. And for anyone to think that a man like that is just going to say, oh, well, I'm going to have a little bit of humility. I'm going to step back and we're just going to have a cake here at the house and maybe some food or whatever and call it a day. No, it has to be a thing. He has to set out the invites and the whole nine. But he's starting to understand, it would seem, that things are not what they used to be for him. And he's not going to be able to go out anywhere pretty much without having to answer questions about this case and about his participation in this case. And that is exactly how it should be. Until he goes and speaks to the authorities, look, if he wants to clear his name, that's how he does it. If he wants his 61st birthday party to be without controversy and without people looking at every little detail of his life, then he needs to come forward, tell the authorities what he knows about Jeffrey Epstein, face up to what he's done, and, then maybe he can start thinking about the future. But until then, there is no way that anyone's going to let this man get away with what he got, what it looks like he thinks he's going to get away with. People are now that this is out there in the public, there is zero chance that there's not going to be a situation where he gets mobbed by reporters or paparazzi or citizen journalists when he's out and just barnstormed with questions. And of course they'll try and control the narrative because that's what the elites do with their goon squads and their press secretaries and all of that jazz. But in reality, they can't control what goes on anymore because no longer do we need them to communicate with us, to tell us what's going on in the world, to tell us what the news is. We bypass them now and we go directly to each other the way we're interacting here on the podcast or in the emails or on, Twitter or Reddit, whatever it may be. And the media and their buddies, they're all becoming obsolete at this point because we don't need to be told how to think. All right, just give us the information and let us process it ourselves. And we'll come up with our own opinions and we'll follow the evidence where we want to follow it. It's the days of believing what these newsreaders say to us, they're long gone. Every time, I don't even watch the news anymore, to be honest with you. I can't tell you the last time I had on one of the major news stations on my TV. It's been a very long time. It's just, I see no benefit of it. I get nothing from it. And the reason I say that is because they package those stories and they protect those who they want to protect, and they spin stories with that goal in mind. And I just refuse to be part of it. I refuse to be part of their nonsense anymore. And Prince Andrew is just the latest example of this sort of nonsense, right in your face, brazenly telling you, screw you. I don't care that I'm being accused of raping somebody. I don't care that I'm being accused of taking part in a trafficking ring. I don't care. I'm going to have my 60th birthday. I'm going to send out my invites, and all my little lick spittles are going to come to the party, and we're all going to thumb our noses at you, and we don't care what you think, and we don't care about anything you say, anything you do. Remember, you are not part of the club. All right, everybody. If you'd like to contact me, you can do that at bobbycapucci@protonmail.com. That's BOBBYCAPUCCI@protonmail.com. If you would like to help support the podcast and you like the work we do here and you enjoy the content, you can help out by clicking on the GoFundMe link inside of the description box. As for me, I'll be back tomorrow morning with the usual morning update. We're going to do an evolution episode tomorrow, and we're going to do the daily drop. So until then, I hope you all have a fantastic Monday evening, and I will talk to you tomorrow morning.